Hello, and welcome to this Eureka webinar in association with Southco. My name is Paul Fanning, and I'm editor of Eureka. Today's presentation is entitled Make Safety Visible by Southco, and it will be presented by David Kelly, Technical Support Manager Europe for Southco. Before I hand over to David, though, I should just say that if you have any questions during the presentation, please type them into the box on the right-hand side, and we'll endeavour to answer them at the end. If we can't answer them at the end, be rest assured that we will hand them on to Southco and they will answer them for you offline. And with that, it just remains for me to hand over to David. David.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Make Safety Visible by Southco webinar. The intent of this presentation is to give you an insight into improving application security and end user safety through access hardware with visible indication. Little bit of background with myself. I've been with Southco now 30 years this year. Had many different roles in technical and sales environments, and completed many years of application support in the field and with various distributors, enhancing their knowledge through what I've picked up over the years. And many of the applications do involve making sure that access and service panels are secured correctly and eliminating risk to operators or machinery. I like to think that I have quite a good rapport with our customer base, making sure we probe and ask the right questions and get down to the technical requirement pretty quickly, and making life easier for those that need to select and add access hardware into their application. Southco as a company, we're an innovative global manufacturer and designer of many products. We service just about every industry you could imagine, and our goal is to be a trusted solutions provider. So we want to make sure we continue to work with our customer base on a regular basis, talk through new and existing applications, driving enhancements and improvements on the feel of the product, and making sure that we support all the way through that process. And our experience as a company, we have so much knowledge of all applications, and we bring that into the product range, and this really helps for the designer to select a product that adds value to your end product. As I said, customer base, we work within every sector of transportation, from off-highway to aerospace, marine, truck, bus. Rail is one of our big sectors for Make Safety Visible. But we also work with a number of what we call diversified or core industries. These can be industrial equipment, lighting, HVAC, medical, data centers. And the ongoing need with these customers is to ensure that any service panel is left in a safe state to prevent unwanted access or risk to any operator. And throughout this process, we want to make sure that the products that we define and help you select create that positive first impression, so that it really enhances your end product in the eyes of the customer. Some of the key universal drivers that require people to look at access hardware needs is speed of service. So if you have to maintain equipment, does it take a long time to open a service panel? Is there a risk of losing access hardware that means you cannot then reattach the panel and you leave the equipment in an unsafe state? We also want to look at the efficiency. Speed is one key driver, but the efficiency is, can we help define a product that can be used on your application in multiple zones? Is it easy for the end user to be able to understand and use the equipment safely? All of these can help bring benefits into the efficiency side, but also consider during assembly of your equipment. Have we defined a product that is quick and easy to be installed and ensures that it's always correctly installed each and every time? Other universal drivers that have to be considered are centering around health and safety. So is the operator at risk if a panel becomes loose or isn't secured properly? And how do you know if it has been secured properly to eliminate that risk? We think about the operator as one key person we need to keep safe, but also the contents or the equipment behind those panels. They may have a high value, or any unwanted interference could jeopardize the function of equipment. So we think EV chargers, for example, if somebody was to break into that and damage it, there is a risk that that equipment is then failed. So security will also have to be considered, and that could be mechanical or electromechanical. One of the bigger things we're seeing across many industries is the implementation of new compliance regulations. So there may be new guidelines or legal needs to ensure that certain panels or service points have to meet industry standards. And again, we can help you navigate through some of those compliance needs and point you towards the products that will help you achieve that industry need. And always the final piece of most discussions, it's the end cost of design and implementation. So we want to make sure that what is selected will last. It has a great cycle life. It gives you fewer needs for maintenance and repair, which helps keep your operational cost post-sale. And this really does help build that good relationship with the customer. Some of the challenges we have to face within certain industries can be equipment failure. Is that failure because of an unsecured door or unwanted access? Is there a fire risk? Do you need to contain a fire within an enclosed space for a given period for regulation needs? Certain applications may have valuable content or equipment that could be at risk of theft. How do we help define a security level? What is the strength of the product that may be required to prevent unwanted access? One big thing that's often overlooked is many service panel maintenance jobs will be serviced by a human. And we can easily forget or incorrectly latch a panel. How do we make that error proof so it's very obvious that I have completed my maintenance, I have closed it, and it's very visual to me that it's been completed? Unauthorized access, this predominantly could be through the use of electronic access, where you can control using an RFID card, a PIN code, Bluetooth. It really does restrict people's access into certain zones. And then, of course, cyber threats. How do we ensure that they cannot get through a service point or door and be able to connect into a system? On this slide, we're going to take a quick look at some access points that could be a hazard and therefore could be improved. So starting from left through right, we're looking at exterior panels on transportation. These are predominantly side skirts or service points on the side of trains that, should they come loose and that panel accidentally open, the risk is it could strike another train and become damaged. There's also the risk that that panel could be encroaching onto the station or the platform and puts passengers at risk if it does become insecure. We also look at electrical enclosures. Often there's high voltage behind here. How do we prevent unauthorized people being able to get into those panels, but how do we ensure that we close them correctly? For those that are in the industrial manufacturing process, machine guarding is becoming a bigger need. So we have to ensure that any moving parts or processes, we prevent people being able to access those when they're going through that operation. And many customers will need to retrofit machine guarding onto these pieces of equipment. We'll quickly transition into medical type applications. So this could be as simple as a first aid box. It could be more complex and be an ambulance or a medical vehicle. Each of these will have storage locations for critical equipment or medicines. Are they correctly secured? Are we allowing quick and easy access? And how do I know if a panel has been opened that will then need us to check for replacements? And then often we forget about the need of data centers. We all use our phone on a daily basis, and all of that data needs to be stored somewhere. And these data centers are getting bigger and bigger, and more of them being built across the countries. How do we prevent the access into these critical infrastructure points? And how do we monitor and ensure that there's no unauthorized access? So let's take a quick step and think about some of the requirements when choosing a latch. We should always pick a product that secures a panel reliably and consistently. And many of the products that you can choose within the Southco range, we have all of that technical data available for you in terms of cycle life and load data, which lets you make an informed choice on, have I selected the right product for this application need? Should I need to error-proof that maintenance operation? So what I'm meaning by that is there a risk that somebody does not return the lock or latching system to the correct secured state, which could leave that door to be accessed by somebody who is unauthorized? Can we make that latching visible? So if I haven't completed the correct closure, is it very obvious to me that I need to go back and do it correctly? Is there a need to make the access secure? If it does need to be secure, to what level? Where is this piece of equipment? Is it in a public space, or is it already behind building security? These are the things that you need to consider. Let's also think about improving the end user experience. We don't want to make error proofing of latching a difficult process. If it is very complex and it's not obvious, those maintenance teams, they may not enjoy having to go through those changes. So if we can implement these needs in a very obvious and easy function, then it really will improve that end user experience because it's not difficult. And we should also ensure that we maintain visibility of any compliance changes. So do I need to meet any new regulation going forward? And if so, have I considered that in my latch selection? Within the Southco range, we have now promoted a range of products under our Make Safety Visible by Southco banner. These are access hardware products that have visual indication for improving safety and monitoring access. And the next few slides will go through some of those key products, and we'll show some videos of those in use. So the first product we have, and this is one of our key and premium product categories, the E3 Vice Action Compression Latch. We have been producing and selling this for decades into many different industries. And one of the requirements we had from the rail sector was, how do I know if it is secured correctly? So this is a mechanical latch. It's mechanically operated, but during the latching and unlatching process, the red rings will become visible as you start the unlatch process. And those red wings have a reflective film on them. So even at night with a torch, you will get that reflection and easily be able to see if a panel is not secure. When we close the latch fully, those wings are fully retracted, and therefore you will know visually that I'm in a secure state. Typical applications for these would be rail service panels, interior service panels, machine guarding, construction and agricultural vehicles, and any electronic or HVAC enclosures that you want to make sure that you've put into the fully secure state. So here we can see during the latching and unlatching process, those wings becoming visible and then retracting. Okay, and these products are available in a range of materials, stainless steels and die cast, and with a fixed or adjustable grip to meet most application needs. If you're an existing customer of the Southco E3 Vice Action range, this can be an easy retrofit, replacing an older model with this newer variant without having to change any of your panel or frame prep. So here we can see on the rear view that latching process, applying the compression, and how those wings remain visible until the latch has completed its fully closed cycle. Another variation on the E3 latch is what we call the bistable cap. So this again is the E3 base product to apply a compressive force on a panel to achieve sealing or vibration resistance, and the inclusion of this dust cover adds a little bit of environmental protection for buildup of dirt, dust or ice, but it also acts as a safety feature that in the unlatched position, the lid will not close and it will spring back to the open state. And again, primarily for the rail sector, but this could be considered in a whole host of different applications. So here we can see on the video, in the unlatched state, the lid or the dust cover cannot close, only when the latch is fully secured. And again, this is the standard panel preparation, so this could be another one that is an easy change from an existing E3 to the one with this new feature. Here we have a couple of images of the products fitted on applications. So these are service points below the rail carriage, what we call skirts. And the challenge we had from the industry is I need to ensure the panels are securely latched and they cannot open as the train is in service. And we've got two options that have been on show. So we have the bistable cap, and we also have the visual indicator. And both are very obvious when they're left in the unlatched position. The next product class we added into the Make Safety Visible was the C2 lever latch. So this is a common product in many lightweight applications. Again, it's mechanically opened, and the change on this part now is there is a slide mechanism on the lever handle that in the latched and set position, the visual indication would be green. And when somebody presses the trigger to open the lever, it will move from green to red, giving you an indication that I've been opened and that I may need to be checked. And the reset of that visual indicator is done with an operator key for the reset action. So again, this can be limited to the correct maintenance people to ensure that it's reset correctly. So here you can see it started off as green and it's moved to red. It will stay red unless it's reset with the reset key. And the idea of this is not to prevent access, but it's to give an indication that the panel has been opened. And typical applications that we would look at could be first aid boxes, defibrillator enclosures, but predominantly going on to ambulances for those type of applications. So the primary need here is if an ambulance has been on a call, it comes back, the equipment needs to be restocked and checked, but they only have to look at those where the indicator has gone from green to red, because they are the only ones that have been opened. The last one in the range that is true make safety visible is the electronic swing handle. So this needs a power supply, and it's an LED indication that will tell you the status of that lock. And the primary applications are data racks and telecom enclosures. And again, what you can see here, this can be controlled in this instance with an RFID. And then once it's in the closed state, it will change its visual color to say, I'm unlocked. It will also change the color if it's mechanically opened with the mechanical override key. And again, primary use for this will be in data centers and enclosure applications. These are indoor type applications. This is not an outdoor or IP rated product. This can also give a remote monitoring option where the connection into a network can give a signal or indication to a control center off-site or not in close proximity to that data center. And one last one that we will go through is an add-on feature to mechanical locks, and it's what we call a universal latch sensor. So predominantly people will use push switches or magnetic sensors that will sense the door position and tell you I'm closed, but it does not sense the latch position. So in this animation, you can see that the output signal is only completed when the latch is rotated so that the magnetic pole is in close contact with the reed switch. At that point, you get the signal that I'm secured correctly. And this can be a retrofit or an add to a range of standard mechanical locks. And in this instance, we show a single and a double throw version, both given the input signal, but the one on the right with the double throw has an integrated LED that could also illuminate that small space to help the user during that maintenance. Other parts that could be considered are any of our electrical products, so the R4EMs or the grabber catch that has an inbuilt switch. As that switch position changes, you will get an output indication that could be used to illuminate an LED, giving you the status of that door. And last piece to add into this, we also have a new system called Keypanion, which integrates local Bluetooth, and you're able to use your phone to be able to have an indication of the locked or latch status of nearby devices. Okay, and with that, I think we have completed, so we will open up for questions.
Thank you very much, David. Yes, let me have some questions here. The first one is, will the E3 wing indicator last in harsh conditions, and can we offer additional colors?
Yep, so the E3 wing indicator has been tested in some very harsh conditions and very dusty environments, and the abrasive nature of that dust didn't prevent the visual indication or the ease and use of the product. In terms of color changes, the reflective sticker that we use has already been done in a host of different colors. So if you have a requirement for it not to be red, then contact Southco. We'll happily work with you.
Okay. And how easy is it to install the universal sensor? And is it suitable for IP-rated applications?
So the universal latch sensor is basically a replacement pull on an existing lock or latch. It's easy to attach to that system, and it's ensuring that the proximity of the sensor to the pull is within the sense range. So it's very simple. The sensor itself can be either placed with the 3M tape or screwed into place, and they are IP67 rated. So these are great for harsh conditions or outside environments.
Okay. And how easy is it to set up Keypanion? And how will I know if it's unlocked?
Keypanion is actually super simple. So once you connect the device to power and connect it to the Bluetooth controller, you can normally have that connected through the app on your phone. So once you download the app, the recognition of a new controller is very quick, and normally you can be up and running in minutes. So it is very simple. And the feedback of the latch status comes through the application, and it will show as an icon on your app that the door is open or closed and the latch is locked or unlocked.
Okay. And does the C2 indicator have options for locking and non-locking?
Within the C2 range, you can still have that indicator version with a key lock that prevents somebody just pressing the button to see what happens with the change. We have this fitted to our first aid cabinets, so we don't want them locked. We want to make sure somebody needing that equipment can press the button, but it gives us the indication that somebody's used the products, and I may need to check the contents. If you do wish to prevent access to only the correct user, we can offer that also as a tool or key option with the same indicator.
Okay. And if I chose electronic rotary latch or one with a switch, how will it show the closed state?
So within the system, the switch position is an output signal, and this can be connected to your integrated circuit within the application to either illuminate, send a signal, or connect to an alarm. So when you download the product specs, you will see the wiring diagram, and when the open switch position is made, then you can control how and where that signal is sent.
Okay. Thank you very much. That's all we have time for today. If there are any questions that people have sent in that we've not been able to answer, as I said before, we will pass those on to Southco and they will answer them for you offline. But with that, it just remains for me to say thank you very much to David for joining us and for his presentation. And thank you very much to everybody else for watching. Thank you.
Thank you.